Now I'm going to go ahead and admit this is going to be a tough one for me to explain. Not that I don't understand the concept, it's just the concept is not fully understood by people, in particular in this generation. It was understood before. I believe my daughter's generation, it would be understood again. In this particular generation of 2024, I don't think it's fully understood. We understand certain things. We understand the nature of time. That it takes time for things to happen. I remember talking to this one brother, and I don't think he's going to listen to this, so it doesn't matter. And if he did, I hope he's not offended. He has this massive vision, and I said, you're not going to see it in your lifetime. And he was not excited when I said that. And I was trying to convey to him the importance of his work, and he took it as a negative. The enormity, how big his work was, and he took it like I was bursting his bubble, like I was saying something bad to him. I will not see the entirety of my work in my lifetime. It is the nature of seed time and harvest time. Now, you understand it as it pertains to, I don't know, building a car. You have to make plans. Some people do have to make plans. There's a budget involved. You understand it when it comes to planting corn. There's the tilling of the ground, the preparation of the ground, and planting the seed, watering, and that sort of thing. The human being also has this system built in them. If you don't understand the law of seed time, harvest time, which is quoted throughout the Christian church, by the way, as though you do this, you're going to get that. Well, true, but what we don't explain are the dimensions in how it works. And it's really clear, at least to me, in my thinking. And by the way, for my kids, my grandkids, my brothers and sisters in Kenya, my brothers and sisters in Ghana, my brother in Bangladesh, and to whomever else this is a blessing to, God bless you. In certain societies, they call these the secrets of the society. I don't think they should be a secret. The things that I'm explaining to you, by the way, are the mysteries. Some of them. I can't claim that I understand all the mysteries. But I can lay on you some of them that produce these miracles that we are so attracted to, when we should be more attracted to what the makeup of the miracles, the mindset of being able to produce a miracle for someone else, not for yourself. In this generation, we're trying to produce things for ourselves. And I think it's changing right now. But we were in the early 2000s concerned about the accumulation of things, and I believe that's changing, because that is an empty existence. I realized that was an empty existence when I had all that stuff It still felt empty. I knew there were mysteries I didn't understand, and so I began to seek the Word, seek it out in the Word in 1998. And I've taken some time off, but for the most part, I've been studying since then, give or take the year or two. I didn't, here and there. We are all seed and we are all harvest. I am harvesting the seeds of my family. I am planting the seeds of my family. It is a continuous link. There is no break in the chain. The seed I plant today will be harvested over the years. That's why the blessing is to 4 generations, because there is a continuous planting and a continuous harvest. Your life is not just yours. Your life belongs to your children and your children's children and your children's children's children. Your job is not to focus so much on you. Take no thought. Study to show yourself approved. You finished that one. A lot of what you have today is because of the seed that was planted by your father, by your mother, by your grandfather, by your grandmother. Good or bad. You can take it any way you want to. I don't think any of it's bad. I just think it's history. Jesus said, I only do what I see the Father doing. Seed time, harvest time. Now, you may not see that as the principle, but I'm not trying to recreate anything. I'm adopted into the bloodline. I take that seriously. I was a stranger and he let me in. So therefore, I'm working out his seed. That's why I study. I want to understand the seed. In understanding the seed, I now have to get into how agriculture works as it pertains to a seed. In other words, I have to now learn how to take care of the seed that was planted generations before me. I have to pull up the weeds. I have to pull up the old thinking the old thought patterns, if you will, the old habits, which are really hard to break. I got some transgressions that I'm dealing with in my mind today. I didn't create them. They came from seed time, harvest time. Some of you do not understand this dynamic. So you justify your behavior not understanding seed time, harvest. Now, I said this was going to be difficult for me to explain, and I do mean that, and I plan on doing this in one video. I will not do 2 videos. But you did not plant the seed that is inside of you. The blessing depends on you cultivating the seed that was planted on the inside of you, and if necessary, changing dealing with the quality of the care of the seed planted on the inside of you. The things that were planted on the inside of me, all of the things are not bad, but some of the things are self-destructive. I grew up a very self-destructive human being. I did not know how to finish things until I was in my late 20s, when I learned how to finish school, when I learned how to write, when I learned how to fight beyond my fears and other people's opinion. I had to learn those things because when I was in my youth, I was insecure. Ignorant. Now you say, well, all kids are ignorant. All kids. No, I had a special brand of ignorance. I'm just kidding. You know, my ignorance was no different than anybody else's ignorance, but my point is I was not on track to do what I'm doing today. It was only by God's grace that He gave me a love for studying the Word. And I thank God for it because it changed the trajectory of my life. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel, what does the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul. Let me share with you the continuation of that, and why these children benefited and were able to enjoy the promised land. And it starts at verse 15. My point starts in verse 15. Deuteronomy 10, verse 15. Only the Lord had a delight in thy fathers to love them. That was the seed. Only the Lord had a delight in thy fathers to love them. And he chose their seed. You above all people. If you're listening today, he delighted in your fathers. This is the reason why it's important to show honor to your fathers and your mothers. Because he delighted in them. He chose you to receive this message. It wasn't that you've decided. It starts at the love he had for your fathers. Do you realize that there are some people that will not in this generation receive this particular message? And you take it for granted. You judge the deliverer of the word. No, forget all that. Drop Mr. Paul Dozier. And listen to the words of God. Study to show yourself approved. Mull it over. Meditate on the word. But listen to what is being said here so that you understand where your miracles and your favor is coming from, why you're getting your grace, why you're getting your mercy, why the lights seem to always be green for you, why you seem not to be able to destroy yourself when you know you're self-destructing, why you're the one that will take your family from this point forward to something greater in your children and your children's children, if you have physical children. If not, you still have spiritual children, whether you're mentoring at your job, teaching at your job. What you plant in others today will fulfill a destiny in the next generation and the generations after that. It's your choice. Plant wisely the seed that you're interested in being responsible for. It's up to you to kill generational curses because you're planting seeds. You can look at it from any perspective. You can look at it from the perspective of the children going in, and keep in mind these are grown people. I had a more intelligent word for it, but it doesn't come to my mind. These are grown people going in, but they have fathers and they have mothers. And it was because of verse 15, Deuteronomy 10:15. Only the Lord had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed. Now watch this. After them. So he left nothing to change. He chose their seed after them. You above all people. This day. And so here comes a commandment. Circumcise the foreskin of your heart and be no more stiff-necked to the Lord your God. And this is the part that I see it in entertainment, I see it all over the place. They say we're gods. We're lords. Deuteronomy 10 verse 17. For the Lord, your God, God of gods, Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty and terrible, which regards not persons, nor take reward. He does execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and loves the stranger in giving him food and raiment. I'm going to stop there because I want to focus in on the stranger. The evidence of the person with the God nature, the God of gods, is their treatment of the stranger. I want to read it again in verse 18 so that you understand that this is not of my own making. He does execute the judgment of the fatherless and the widow. Judgment is not condemnation. Judgment is not condemnation. And love the stranger in giving him food and raiment. Verse 19 too. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I want you to catch on to this for my kids, my grandkids, the people who consider me a teacher. I want you to catch on to this, because the love of the stranger does not mean that you allow them to take over. The love of the stranger means you welcome them into the system of operating. If they choose not to operate according to the system, if you remember our lessons in the book of Leviticus, and if you don't, then go back. Because I can't do it. I can't run back there right now. But they're to be treated just like anyone else who's within the system who don't love the system. You don't let them run over you, or you lose the system. But you welcome the stranger into the system of operating, the hand of Moses. A lot of people who claim they love God hate strangers. You cannot love God and hate strangers. Verse 18, he does execute judgment of the fatherless and widow, and loves the stranger in giving him food and raiment. Verse 19, love ye therefore the stranger. Give food and raiment, in other words. For ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. This is service to God. This is service to God. This is service to God. I don't know what you consider service if you're not showing love to the stranger. Service to God is not making yourself rich and bragging about it. Service to God is not getting amongst your friends and having a barbecue. Service to God is loving the stranger. When God says, let me just touch on this because I don't, let me touch on this. He executes judgment of the fatherless and widow, and love the stranger. He doth execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and love the stranger. Fatherless, widow, stranger, in giving food and raiment. He doth execute judgment. In other words, we find the one that's closest here. Matters of justice is a really good one. The most common is judgments, which is the law or ordinances. Ordinances. See, we think the 10 Commandments is just the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill, not images, murder, and that sort of thing. Operating in the kingdom of God means you are executing the ordinances, which is executing judgment. Judgment is not condemnation. It means when you see these elements, you understand the ordinances necessary to judge these elements. If they're a stranger, food and raiment. Widow, food and raiment. Fatherless, food and raiment. What we don't take seriously is our responsibility to plant seed. We're all looking for the harvest. God is the God of the harvest. Don't worry yourself about the harvest. Worry yourself about the responsibility you have. Some plant. Some water. God gives the increase. Some of us are too focused in on God's job. This is the reason why I tell you, young people, study to show yourself approved, spend more time on education, surround yourself with the right people. Don't God is giving you the desires of your heart. In other words, He put those desires on the inside of you. Now pursue. Do the work. Don't worry about the harvest. CashApp $MrPaulDozier. CashApp $MrPaulDozier. We are on a journey from Genesis to Revelation. Yeah, you guessed it. I don't know how long it's going to take. But we are on our way. This is my personal private Bible study that I'm sharing with you. If this is helpful to you, please like and share it with others. It will be helpful to them as well. Whether you do it personally in your own personal Bible study, with friends, family, in business, I try to touch on business principles as well. Or in your church, amongst your leadership. But please like and share. You can also, if you're in America, if you want to support the ministry, you can also Zelle me at paulcdozier, as D as in David, O-Z-I-E-R, Paul, P as in Peter, A-U-L. I don't know why sometimes when I say Paul, some people hear Carl. I don't understand that. But anyway, Paul, P-A-U-L, C as in Charles, D as in David, O-Z-I-E-R at gmail.com. And thank you so much for taking a journey with me. And for those who are on this journey, thank you all for taking the journey with us.